Well, good morning. Today I want to start a new series. I'm going to start playing Minecraft and talk as I go and just have fun. So if you're here, thank you for joining me, and let's go do this. So I'm going to create a new world. Boy, what am I going to call this world? It's got to be unique. This is always a difficult thing. We can name it after gems. Diamond, emerald, sapphire. Gem, land, hills. Hillstone. Hillstone sounds kind of cool. Hillstone. Yeah, alright, let's go with that. We're going to play on hard, of course. I don't know if I'm going to do hardcore. You can't respawn if you die. No, I'm not going to do that. But I'll set some rules to make this plenty difficult. I'm not going to do dupe glitches. I won't do that. Well, maybe I will. If it's legal in the game, I don't know. All right, let's just stick with hard. Let's create that. You know, it's always interesting to me how much fun it is to start a new survival world. I think there's something deeply human about this. I mean, we just love being thrown into this new world. Everything's hasn't been explored before. Look at that, would you? That's incredible. And you play a new seed, and I mean, there's like an infinite. The number of seeds is infinite. Wow, that is so cool. And it's just so neat to be at a place like, hey, you know what? No one has ever seen this world before. I'm the first to be there. And I want to explore. So one of the first things I'll break a big Minecraft rule. You never dig straight down, but I'll do it. I want to mark spawn. I don't know if I'm going to set chords on. Probably not. I think it's more challenging to play without chords. So I'm not going to turn chords on. So I'm going to mark like a spawn. I'll just do like just make a little pattern here, a little square pattern, so I know where spawn is. And the one thing I don't like about not using chords, let's be consistent here, is that the chords, the 0 will be like some grid. It'll be like at the intersection of 4 and not like that block right there, which is where I feel like I started on. So maybe when I come back, I'll have to figure out where exactly the 0.00 is, so I know where the line for the chunks are. Not that I really need it or care, I guess, but one of the downsides, in the old Xbox games, if you build a map, depending where you're standing, you're going to end up just on that side or that side or that side. But from looking at here, this is going to be the edge of a map. That is a really cool spot, so I'm definitely going to want to check that out. So I think that's a kind of an obvious marker now that this is where my spawn is. Let's make that a little more pronounced. Just make a nice little cross here. And I'll dig this out. And I think the first thing I'm going to need is probably some wood. And I've been playing this game for years. This all started for me one Christmas morning when, this game was kind of popular. Oh gosh, 10 years ago or so. And my boys at the time were pretty young, and it seemed like something to get them. I mean, this game is very blocky. It feels like building blocks. And when I first started playing, I thought it's too childish. It's too blocky. But the more I started playing it, the more the blocks doesn't really matter. Your brain just stops seeing blocks, and you're just sort of in this world, this unique world, surviving. It's a lot of fun. So I was hoping to find another couple of sheep there. I'm not seeing any. So let's get some wood. I'm not a huge fan of the swamp biomes, other than the blue flowers. I thought I saw some flowers over there. I do not. The blue flowers make a really nice color. And those flowers are unique to this biome. I might as well punch you while I'm over here. Yeah, I guess I don't know if I want to. I really don't want to start chopping down swamp trees. As much as I don't like swamps, I think chopping down the trees make them look even worse. So let's head over here. This looks like a nice spot to start base building. Man, that is so cool. I love these. I love these. Whatever. There's the blue flowers. Whatever that biome is called. I just love the way it looks. It's fun to build bases up there. And so there's an aspect to this game that's deeply human. I think, you know, we all sort of have this instinctual drive to explore. You know, I think it's how nature made us, God made us, you know, however you want to think about it. You know, we're here and we just sort of are made to do this. We like to explore. You know, where Minecraft falls a little short, I think, in solo mode is it feels very lonely. When you get on a realm and invite friends, or even what I'm doing now, just talking. You know, maybe someone will hear this someday. Just knowing that maybe there's someone else out there sharing this experience with, you know, that's meaningful. I guess I'm going to start chopping down these trees. I think this is good enough. So, we need to 5-6 blocks. And this game for me has really just been, puts me in flow state, you know. I'm not thinking about, you know, like beating the game or completing some objective. I'm just sort of existing in it, and it's peaceful. So let's make a crafting table. All right. And I still have some amount of daylight. Where's the sun? I don't know why I can't see the sun. All right. Do I not have the visuals set up? I did. I should be able to see my shadow, or the sun's shadow. I don't know why. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, I'm getting distracted is what I'm doing. I think I just will make that classic pickaxe. And maybe go for some stone. Let's see if we could find maybe a little cave nearby. We could start digging at this wall over here. Boy, it's run quite a bit. I don't know if this is a good spot for this. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, let's do it here. We'll put like a little mine entrance right here. I think that'll be good. Good for 2 blocks wide. Oh, we got some cool. Nice. All right. Let's make a little pickaxe. We'll do a stone pickaxe. I'm not going to bother running all the way over there again. We'll leave that crafting table there. I'll just make an axe and chop down some wood. Yeah, we'll make a stone pickaxe. And then we'll make an axe. Yeah, let's do this. Make an axe. Then I'll chop down some more wood with that axe. And I think we'll probably start to clear this out a bit. I think we'll start to build a little base of operations down here. Yeah, I mean, there's something about this game. You know, you just walk around, explore, and it's like, okay, what can I do next? You know, I want to explore and build. You want to look for a spot where there's like resources, and this mirrors real life. You know, I mean, you sort of go through your life, and you want to be productive and do the right thing and have success and win. You know, this is all very, very normal. And this game, to me, you know, scratches that itch. It's kind of like the holodeck from Star Trek, I guess, where you can just hop in this infinite environment, or near infinite environment. I have no desire to ever travel to a world border. Who knows? I might change my mind someday. But you know, you just sort of hop into this world, and you just sort of, you know, play out the pattern of being a human, and it's a lot of fun. I know it's not for everybody, but I really enjoy it. And I think you know, the way God made us is like we're supposed to work. You know, do things like this. Like, well, I know we're playing, but I mean like abstractly, like we're supposed to do work and explore and build and discover and invent. And all the while we're doing this type of work, we should be, we should be meditating about life and thinking about things, So I'll be upfront, I'm a Christian, and the great commission or commandment, right, in the Bible is to love God with all your heart, mind, and soul and strength, and then to love your neighbor. And I think I think as we like work and do stuff, I feel like, it's like we're supposed to meditate on that, So when I get in a game like Minecraft and I just start like digging tunnels and doing a lot of this stuff that I've been doing for years, I don't really think about it anymore. Like, I know it's getting to be dark, so I better make a bed. If I can get one of those flowers, yeah, let's go for the classic red. The old beds only ever came in red, so we're gonna make a red bed, and then I'll place that down. I'm not gonna bother making a house or anything. We'll just put it over here. I don't even remember what I was saying. But yeah, I think, as you start going into autopilot, a little bit, like, hey, I know how to make a bed without thinking about this or why I need to, which wasn't true when I first played this game. I was just digging and building, and I had no idea what happens at night. I knew nothing of the game, and it was crazy. I had skeletons and zombies and coming after me all night, and I kept dying. And I think that was the moment the game sort of gripped me. Because my kids were so young and they needed me to sort of stay alive, and then I just kept playing, and I've been playing ever since, really. Yeah, boy, this new lighting it's not clear to me when it's nighttime. There we go. Sleeping through the night. So, yeah, as I was saying, I feel like, sort of a natural state for us is to be, I'll just keep digging. Just as you dig, just sort of meditate, like, what is life? Why am I here? And then, thinking about good things, right? Like, what's good and true and beautiful, and like wanting, desiring that stuff, right? Loving God, right? That's the first thing. Love God. And so I think, what does it mean to do that? How do you love God? I don't, I don't have an answer for that, but I can tell you what it's not. It's not going to be lying and cheating and stealing and killing and destroying and all that jazz. Getting angry and depressed, and no. These are not good things, right? I think God made us all special and unique. We're all special snowflakes, and God made us that way, and I think that, we take pleasure when we are sort of growing in the natural skills and abilities and talents that God gave us. And I like to think God takes pleasure in watching us go flourish and do that. And to me, this game is it's like a reflection of that process. As long as you're not on a PvP server and blowing up everybody's stuff. But I gotta run to. I got something I gotta run to. I'm gonna pause this 1 second. How do we get out of here? I just need to save and quit. And I'm back. I had something I had to take care of. So, yeah, I guess we're in day 2. I don't really have an objective, but just thinking more about what I was saying earlier, sometimes, we just sort of go on autopilot, and, that's sort of our meditative Zen state, which is good. But other times, sometimes I think it's good to be really deliberate about the actions you want to take. So if I just go on autopilot, like I'm just going to dig straight through this whole thing, I don't know that I want to do that. I'd like to kind of get a better view of the land here, and see, how I want to start building out my base. Is there a village nearby? So I'm going to take this bed, and I'm not too worried about it getting dark now because I have a bed. But I am going to need some food here pretty soon. So maybe I can craft... Maybe I can craft a quick little campfire. And cook some food. I think I need some more sticks. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to get a little campfire going with our trusty raw beef. You know, one of the things I wish Minecraft would do is little perks for different foods. Beef is the best of the meats to be eating to satiate those hunger bars. And I mean, you still need things like feathers to make arrows. But you know, why would I kill a pig, you know, for pork when beef is way better? Yeah, I don't know. So I really do like the new lighting. It's fun. I like the little textures dancing in the light like that. That's pretty. All right, we got our food. I'm going to leave that fire and crafting table here. Just to sort of mark my spot, and let's go on a little exploration for the goal. The goal for today in game. Just sort of probably walk around this thing. If I can find a clear path up, I'll probably take it. And now that I'm looking, I see I could. So let's do that. I probably want to grab that sugar cane, but I'll hold off. I'm nowhere close to farm sugar cane for maps or books. I just want to explore right now. I'll never forget the first time I read about how to travel up and down mines quickest, and the answer online was waterfall elevator. I'm thinking to myself, what? You know, how strong is Steve? He's going to just swim up waterfalls? Apparently so. He can carry stacks of meter chunks of gold. Oh, we got an Enderman already. Goodness, 2 Endermen. Whew. All right, I got to be careful. Wow, that's interesting. So, yeah, this I might want to light up this room a bit. I think am I gonna go for it? Why not? I'm gonna sprint across here and lay some torches, and hopefully I don't get exploded. I'm just gonna lay some torches down here so the mobs don't spawn quite so bad, and get the heck out of Dodge. Hopefully not take fall damage here. Okay, cool. So I didn't realize I'm like at the edge of the ocean here. So man, that is really neat. You know, I think it's funny too. I named this place Hillstone, and as soon as we spawn in, we get a giant hill that's made of stone. Coincidence? I don't know. I do not know. Very cool. Do I want to try and go up there? Oh man. Sure. Let's do it. You know, if I get hit by an arrow, I'm just gonna fall in this water, so that won't kill me. Hopefully, let's not look at an Enderman. But I'm in water, so they're not gonna come after me. At least not in the water. Very neat. Very cool. I'll get some iron. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be. I think I'm gonna be hanging out up here for a while. Yeah, I was expecting a little island up here. Let's see if we can dig this block. Oh, no. Come on, get back over there. Just stay right there for a second. There we go. All right, come on, get up there. Get up there, Steve. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, might as well get some chicken meat while I'm at it up here. Get some chicken nuggets. All right. Yeah, very neat. Okay, I could definitely build some really neat paths and bases up here. I'm for sure going to do that. I don't see a village. I wasn't expecting the ocean over here. I don't see any monuments, but really liking this location. I could probably turn up chunk generation, but I think this is cool. I don't know if I want to go up there. I don't know how far up there I want to get, really. Very neat, though. Very lots of potential. There's got to be a village over in here. Let's go look. Let's go see what we can find. Hopefully I can jump down into some water. Oof. I think I'm going to regret this. Take some fall damage. And more fall damage. Alright, let's get some steak. It's getting dark already, goodness. Turn around and see what that looks like again. That's so cool. That's really cool terrain generation. Definitely going to make a base there for sure. Alright, get some lava. Not much though. Not enough for a portal. And that looks pretty cool too. But I want to see if we could find a village nearby. I can maybe get some good items and think about how I want to build my base for trades. Kind of shocked we didn't find a village over here. Oh, we'll keep looking. Yeah, I mean, there's something very human about playing this game, you know? You just keep exploring, find a high place, climb the high place, you know? When you think like what that means spiritually, climbing a mountain, you know, you go up high and you sort of gain insight, right? There's like, you know, it lets you see further. You know, there's not a whole lot of places to explore at the very top of a mountain because it's all beneath you, but you can see far. And I think, yeah, I mean, that's kind of true spiritually, right? I mean, you want to go up to God and pray about things and think it over and make the right decisions. You know, it requires going up that mountain, you know? You know, there's a reason why monks and sages and hermits are sort of known to live in these kinds of areas. And people go to them for wisdom. You know, why is that? What is it about, you know, a guy living in isolation for decades in some crazy part of the world that we want to go talk to and seek wisdom from? I heard a story about somebody visiting a monk on Mount Athos in Greece and, you know, wanting to get, you know, a piece of wisdom from this monk. And the monk says to him, love God. You know, that's it. That's all you get this year. You know, just can you do that? You know, and I think like, well, what does that mean? You know, I mean, I know, you know, for us moderns, people in the modern world, you know, don't necessarily believe in God. What does that mean to love God? And so I go back to, you know, what I was saying earlier about like, well, what's good? What's fruitful? You know, what does it mean to think about these things? And, you know, if you take the literal fundamentalist approach as well, what does it mean to love God as a being, as your spiritual heavenly Father, who created you and made you and who loves you and wants to have a relationship with you? And you know, how is it that I am with my own children? You know, I desire their love and affection, sure, but as their father, you know, and as they age, you know, I desire for them to be skilled and for them to go and live in the world and make friends and find good careers and grow in the talents and skills that they sort of are interested in and have gotten better in over the years. And, you know, I'm not necessarily looking for them to, you know, to just like, hey, Daddy, I love you, and give me a hug. Although when they're kids, of course, you appreciate that. That's wonderful. but as they become independent, people and grown men, I want them to outshine me. I want them to be more fruitful than I ever was. I want them to make more money and have a better relationship with their wife than I did. And although, I mean, to be fair, I think my relationship with my wife is the best and, is getting better every day. And I could not be more thankful to have her. But I still hope for like, well, I want my kids to have even more, even better. And, that's what I desire for them. And so, I think like, well, okay, what does that mean for them to love me as adults, And I think it is that aspect of being fruitful and multiplying, which, if you look at the Bible, is the first commandment that God gave us. Boy, I'm not seeing anything out here. It's just an ice wall. Um, yeah, I was really hoping I would find a village. That's okay. I think this will be fun because I'll build another portal. We'll make another road, and we'll find a village and connect it at some point. Boy, yeah, I really thought I would find a village. All right. I'm kind of getting lost now. I might be stuck somewhere. This should make the game fun. I'll build a compass and go back to spawn. But honestly, I think we're kind of landlocked. I don't think we're going to be able to get very far and stay lost because there's an ice wall there. I'm pretty sure I came from over there somewhere. So now we're going to explore the others. Ooh, pumpkins. I have to get some of those pumpkins. So yeah, and I think like, I think Jesus said in the New Testament, if you love me, you'll obey my commandments, right? It's like, okay, well, let's first command, be fruitful, multiply, okay? And then later, love God, love others. And so, okay. I mean, you could get really pedantic and go through all the Jewish commandments, I guess, from the Torah. There's like hundreds of them, right? But some of them are kind of crazy, like, you can't trade, with your neighbor a particular goat on whatever day of the week. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't really live in that world anymore. We live in the world of internet and rage bait and cryptocurrency, and it's just a little different today. So what kind of laws should we be obeying? What kind of rules do I want my kids to like obey? And I guess it's like the Hippocratic Oath. When I raised my kids, I thought that was a useful frame. That I would try to not hurt my kids. Instead of giving them a perfect life, because I think a lot of parents try and want to make their kids have a perfect life and do all the things and pay for all the sports and the private schools and all that stuff. And I think you just wear yourself out doing that, and I don't think that's necessarily what's best for the kid, because then you're just going to sort of control their life and set very high expectations that even if they achieve them, won't necessarily be fulfilling for them or you, and may even seed some resentment. And, I just decided that wasn't a game I wanted to play. Boy, I was really hoping there'd be a village out here. Okay, I don't think we're going to find a village. I think I'm going to have to go back and just do some base building. So, yeah, I mean, so I go back to like, what does it mean to love God? I don't know. I mean, how do I love, how does a child, it's like 2 or 3 love their parent, one of the first things, I guess, first word a kid learns is no. As a toddler grows up and runs around the home and gets into things, you have to set boundaries as a parent to make sure that child doesn't get hurt, and the child doesn't know any better, right? But Jesus says, unless you can become like this child, like the children, and you're not going to enter into heaven. What does that mean? I don't think kids are having these kinds of mental thoughts like I'm having now, thinking about life and the bigger existential things. I don't think they think about that stuff, and I probably shouldn't either. I don't know. But God gave me this brain, and I like to use it. So I don't know. It is kind of crazy, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we try and do the best we can with what we have, and we understand that's never good enough. And, that's just how it is. Someday I'll die and you'll die, and, what's remembered of you might not be much. And, they say everyone dies twice, right? The actual time you die, and then the last day somebody says your name. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, as a modernist, someone who likes to think about things mechanically, as a scientist, as an engineer, it's hard for me to just accept, or accept, I think is the right word, because I sort of think I believe it, but just to sort of accept, like, when you die, there's going to be something else. I don't know, it could be, and living that way, living with the intentionality, I guess, of knowing that things go on. Does that change how you live your life? Does that make you better? Does it make you a better person and more useful? I don't know. I followed Scott Adams for a long time. He had a pretty good podcast and following. He passed away a couple weeks ago, and he was always harping on be useful. And at the very last moment, he did accept Christ as his savior publicly. And he skipped church. He just went through his whole life as sort of a pragmatist. He didn't go to church, and at the last second, he thought, you know what, I don't know about all this stuff, but I'm gonna bet on Jesus Christ. And there's something about that just, man, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of touching. It reminds me of the story of the two guys on the cross next to Jesus when he was crucified. And the one guy said to him, "Hey, think of me when you go to heaven." And Christ was like, "You're going to join me." And I thought, hey, it's never too late. And there's something deeply touching and motivating about that story. So, yeah, I mean, you can live your whole life and it's an absolute mess, and God will still take you. It's all thanks be to Him and the grace. And yeah, it's just wild. So this is a really, really fascinating seed. This is so cool. I'm definitely going to build two bases, I think. We're going to have some roads in the middle. I will build my own village here. I'll probably have a zombie spawner out in the ocean somewhere, or maybe in here. So we're definitely going to want to do some caving, light up all the spaces under the water. So I think I need to figure out where I'm going to build my house. Spawn was pretty close to there. Actually, I need to go to bed. So I think we're entering day 3 now, or 4. And I definitely want spawn, or well, not my base, I think should be maybe right there actually would be a good spot. There's enough land here for farming, and over here would be a good spot to place an a nether portal. And again, not a huge fan of the swamp. So let's just go over there and see how it looks. And if that looks all right, we'll do it there. Otherwise, might go over here or over there. But I think I might come from over there. So let's go right there. Let's see what that looks like. Whee! All right. Yeah, so I mean, I'm sort of doing these videos for me more than anyone else. I like to think, and I'm a thinky talky person, and I like Minecraft, and I feel like this is sort of a good outlet. It's a good restful outlet, I think, for me to sort of chew on things and reflect. If I could jump, that would be nice. Do a little parkour on the keyboard. Oh, I got auto jump on. That's probably what screwed me up here. I know I could do that. I know I could make this jump. Oh yeah, it's the auto jump for sure. It's making me jump before I want to jump. Okay, so let's see if, yeah, see how it does that? Okay, there we go. And let's do it one more time. Oh, we got it. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so yeah, I know I'm just sort of putting myself out there. I don't know. I feel again like it's important or desirable to socialize in some way, even if that's just me talking to myself on a YouTube video that maybe someone will never watch. So yeah, this looks pretty cool too. I kind of like it up here. I'll definitely build something here. But my starter base I think is gonna have to be. I think I might want it over there, there, or there, or there. So let's go over here because I've not been over here. Let's see what that looks like. You know, when you're up top and you look at a location, you think that's where I want to build it, and then you go down there and the perspective changes. And I'm thinking like, okay, if I'm down here in the game all the time, do I really want to be staring at, whatever it is I'm looking at? And you don't really know until you get down there and look. So now that I'm over here, say, this looks pretty cool. This would be a chill space to build. Actually, I think I know what I want to build here. This will be like where I'll put my honeybees and crops and flowers, I think. But yeah, as I get closer to the swamp, it looks kind of ugly, and I don't know if I want to be just looking at that, because I think having a nice view is nice, We got some good flowers here, so this might be a good spot to build the base. I think I'm near spawn again, where we first spawned in. This looks very cool. I think I definitely want to build another portal over like right in here. I think I'm gonna have a nice portal. But that view is just so ugly. I mean, that's awesome, but that swamp. Ugh. All right, so maybe I want to build my home base over here more. Let's see what this looks like down in this area. So I could build it right here. That goes downhill pretty quickly into the ocean. So there's not as much space here as I would like for like a larger house build. So I think I'm gonna pass. I think I'm gonna pass on this location. I mean, I'll definitely build something here as I progress through the game. I've got a lot of ideas for builds that I want, but this is not going to be the place for my home base / starter home. So let's do some more exploring. Oh, I need some food. Okay, let's make another fire. Let's see, I need some more sticks. All right, get a fire going. And I'll just leave the fire here. We'll just leave it there. Yeah, I mean, I think this spot has potential. If this wasn't swamp, I would definitely be building here. I just think it's so ugly. It's just the brownness and the fog that can set in. Don't like it. But, I mean, it's close to spawn. And like I said, I'll have something here, just not my permanent base. I need a bigger spot for that. Yeah, we'll put some more down. So I'll think about my build while I'm doing this. So my starter base, I want something that I can put like a fence around and expand on, like a giant mansion. I want like a horse corral and a driveway and a grand entrance and a courtyard and all that stuff. And, probably need like, maybe 100 by 200 block area to really build that out. And eventually I would want to connect it to a village or something I'll build, or like a castle or palace, or, I really want to make a sprawling scene here. And everywhere I'm walking, I think will turn into that eventually. But I think I want my starter base is going to have to be over here. It's just going to have to be over here. And I think I'm going to go for over there. And it would be it'll be cool to build a base up there, and we will do that. But I need, quick access to the ground in my farms and all that stuff. And I really do like having the view here, so this might be it. This might be the spot. If that water is shallow, you know, I could cover that up easy enough. I think this might be our spot. I think if I go over there, I think I'll be too far away from the view. What a view this is. Yeah, I think this is gonna be it, guys. I think my starter base is gonna go over here. And the sun is setting over here, so I'll build, you know, I'm gonna have to do like an A-frame with a fireplace. You know, I think that'll be like over here. I could cover. That's all really shallow. I could cover all this up. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do, guys. I think I'm gonna start my house over in here. I think is how I'm gonna do that. All right, I think we have a location, guys. All right, so think about what I did, right? You know, I went up the mountain, I explored, ran all the way over there, you know, went up this mountain and explored and got a good look of the lay of the land, and now I know where I want to build my base. So I think we'll just get a little start with that. And I think that will be the end of our play session today. But let's just get this started. I'm going to need a shovel to handle all this dirt. And while I'm crafting, I might as well make a sword. Probably going to need that, and I might as well make a hoe as well. All right, I think that's the basics. Yeah, I think this will be where my base will start. And we'll dig this out. We'll just make a really basic little hovel. You know, just the bare necessities here. Make a nice little cobblestone shack. Give a little porch for the front door here. And yeah, look at that. We had just the right amount of stone for that. Awesome, huh? All right, and I'm going to need to build walls and windows, doors. I'll need some glass for the door. Yeah, we'll make a little doorway here. All right, now it's starting to look like a proper Minecraft game, guys. All right, I'll put that there. And I think we have just enough to finish this. Look at that, huh? Oh, misplaced block. Did I use my axe? Oof. All right. I guess I don't need that, but look at that nice sunset. So in the future, you know, this will be like a big A-frame room, a nice fireplace over there, and yeah, I think we have a nice little base. All right. Well, that finishes up the first leg of the journey of Minecraft survival. And I think the next step will be prioritization, right? I need to figure out what I need. I'll need a source of food, obviously. I'll want to get a mine started. And I want to make the game fun. So I don't want to just go straight for the min-max strategy. You know, get the diamond armor as fast as possible. You know, this isn't a race, you know, I'm in this for the long game. I want this to just be a place I can come into and sort of reflect with my thoughts as I just play and enjoy the game. So that will be, you know, sometimes I'll have deliberate projects and big mega builds I want to do, and other times it's just going to be, you know, just sort of speaking my mind and exploring on autopilot and not really caring about what I'm doing. But I think, you know, I do want to be a little deliberate for the next few projects. So let's get an axe. Oh, I need. Boy, I really put myself in a corner, didn't I? All right. You know, let's make a bed because I'm gonna have to go where there's wood to make an axe. Oh, I can't. Oh gosh, I can't make a bed either. But we're gonna leave that bed there. Okay, so I have all day to go back over to where we were originally and start chopping down some wood. So I'm gonna do that. So I think I need an axe. We'll start chopping down some wood, and then I'll start making glass so I can make windows for my base. Yeah, and then I think the next thing I'll probably do is maybe farm some cows. So I need a wheat farm. I'll need a bucket, which I don't have. So I'm going to need some iron, at least 3 pieces of iron very soon. Maybe 6 pieces of iron. Actually, yeah, because I want 2 buckets, and I might need a metal pickaxe or an iron pickaxe to mine some of the better ores. But again, I'm not really at that point, so I think I'm just gonna need just a couple of buckets. 1 bucket should be fine, and then I'll start my wheat farm for the cows and sheep and bread. I'll start a sugarcane farm as well for books and a map. So I think I'm going to want a map sooner than later. I will need some redstone and gold, so we'll have to get mining. So I think building a map would probably be like the next big objective, and I want to do some farming. So let's make a nice little axe. Let's make a nice little axe here, and I need some stone. I want to do some farming. Build up my house a little bit. We'll need to make a smaller storage area. I'll probably want at least 4 double chests. And just think loosely about how I want to organize my stuff. And I think that will sort of take the next few days in game as I work on that. And then once I sort of do that, I'll work on expanding out my builds, and might do some more exploring to get some more. Yeah, I might as well just keep going a little bit here. I'll do some more exploring, and I might put walls here and make them look nicer, so I'll go ahead and dig this out. I'll do some more exploring for some other biomes, and once I find a village, I'm going to want to build a road in the nether to connect that village to my base, so I'll need a map to do that. If I'm not using cords, I'll need a map to at least see where I'm at in the overworld on my map when I go into the nether, so that I can sort of figure out where to put those portals. Okay, so I got my stone, but I wanted to make an axe, so let's do that. A wood axe, not a pickaxe. All right, so we got all the basic tools. Might as well build a set of tools I know are gonna break. Yeah, might as well get a couple of them. Might as well make another wood axe while I'm at it. And I think that's good. So I think I'm gonna need 3 blocks of iron for a bucket. So I can make a nice farm. And I don't know if I'm gonna go up or down for the iron. I know we've seen it before. But yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll go up and see if we can get some iron. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits for today, and we'll see you real soon.